What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hypocritical AF podcast. I'm your host, Albert Fig, and yes, I am shaking my green drink. I hope, I hope, fucking 4 or 5 times I said hope, but I hope that y'all at least get some type of greens, whether that's eating them, right, or from vegetables or drinking them. I personally, I gotta drink at least one of these greens or greens juices or something like that, at least once a week. And I highly recommend and would like for y'all to motivate yourselves to drink some motherfucking greens, okay? They're good for you, you know? The only thing that sucks is that they may or may not give you a bunch of shits. So I've heard, okay? It affects everybody differently, okay? But welcome back. I'm excited. I'm excited to record. I'm excited to just sit here and talk. I gotta tell y'all, I was like literally thinking about this all day, and thinking about recording all day today, right? I haven't had that feeling of feeling excited like that in a while, you know, just because, man, like we finally did it. We reached the year mark. I wish I could fucking show this, and I am. Well, actually, you can't, but you can hear this. Just give a claps. Let's just give claps. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to everybody. We did it, y'all. We did it. We reached the 1 year mark, you know? And if you noticed, last week, I took it off. I took last week off. And I didn't end up doing the 1 year celebratory episode like we originally planned, but and I'll go into that in detail in a little bit, but I just wanted to say I'm still here. We are still here. The Hypocritical AF podcast is still here, okay? A lot of people, now I just want to say for context, call me crazy. A lot of this stuff I'm just making up. No one actually said this. No one's actually well, I'm not gonna say they haven't said it, but maybe publicly haven't said it. Maybe they've never even said it to me. Maybe they might have thought this or said this behind closed doors or, you know, within their own thoughts. But I'm gonna say a lot of people didn't think this shit would last. A lot of people counted this podcast out. A lot of people didn't think this was gonna last a full year. A lot of people thought it was bullshit. A lot of people didn't believe in me. Now, is that true? Again, I don't know. I just like to, for whatever reason, I put that out there to kind of motivate myself. I don't know if that shit's true or not, but I'm telling myself that to motivate myself. And I don't expect anybody to understand that, but it's just a form or a way that I'm just like, yo, these motherfuckers are doubting you, bruh. Or who's to say you can't do this? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like putting that in my head, knowing that like, no, I can do that. You know what I mean? So I'm motivating myself when I'm saying that. So I guess I'm kind of creating doubters and haters in my own world, but no one's even, or my own mind, but it's not even really happening. Maybe not, you know? But I just know that I'm putting that out there to kind of be like, nah, bruh, I'm gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? And we are here, a year down. And let me break down a little bit that's been going on, okay? So originally the plan was I wanted to have like a celebration type of thing for the 1 year episode live. Like the plan originally I was gonna decorate for like a specific 1 year themed. I already had like the specific guests that I wanted to have on. It was gonna be 4 guests that have been on previously. Well, myself, so 3 of the guests that have been on previously. And I wanted to like chop it up with everybody, kind of do like a year review of the podcast and just life in general, certain topics and stuff like that. And I wanted to have a tequila tasting segment, and I already had one that specifically was chosen and was planning for everything, budgeting for everything. I wanted to like make it a thing, you know what I'm saying? But life happens, and we had to adjust on the fly. No big deal, but without getting too much in detail for all that, I'll just say family comes first. Family is priority over anything, and sometimes you have to adjust and move accordingly and push things back or kind of shake the snow globe whenever there's like a concern in the family or an adjustment. So I had specific family issues that I had to attend to, so I kind of had to leave that for that week or that weekend, I would say, over the holiday or over Thanksgiving. And coming back, I still kind of could have technically recorded, but there was a lot of stuff in the air, and I just wasn't in the mood, to be honest. It wasn't even the mood, because there's been times where I wasn't in the mood before, but still came in here and still recorded. You know what I mean? There's been times where I wasn't in the mood for the week, but I still came in here and record it. This was a different type of mood. It wasn't mood like, oh, I'm feeling fucking groggy or sleepy or upset or angry. This was like it was in the mood of where I didn't want to give like a half-assed episode. I didn't want to give like a half-assed product. And especially with the 1 year being so like special or so close to me, I didn't want to like water it down, you know what I'm saying, by kind of giving something that would be like half-assed or not like my full potential for the episode. And then also I didn't feel very charismatic. So it'd be tough for me to like kind of drag my feet in here and do an episode while there was, family stuff going on in my head and a lot of uncertainty. So now that there was some type of clarity, I'll say that feeling better. So that's why there wasn't an episode last week. I just wasn't, very charismatic on that. But I also feel like, you know what, it was a I would say a very well deserved little break. 52 weeks straight. For I think it was like 57, what, five bonus episodes. You know what I mean? So needless to say, between all that, doing all the work and then, like with the bonus episodes and all the mobiles, and I don't think anybody's like questioning my work ethic. I would hope not. I don't think anybody's being like he didn't, really reach the full 52 because he didn't put out that episode, because technically you'd be right. And technically I didn't put out, well, no, actually I did. I did 57 episodes, so I went over, but it was at the exact year mark when it was supposed to drop December 1st, and I didn't drop one December 1st. So technically I skipped out on that one. You know what I'm saying? But it was a much needed little pause, I would say, not a break necessarily. But I'll be lying too, or I would say that there was a time where I was thinking like, if I should do this like in seasons, you know what I mean? Like season one, okay, you do everything like every year as a season, kind of like a real production thing or like a show, because some of the big podcasts that are out there, they also have seasons too. It's not just every single week. Now, granted, you could be, obviously there's those the outliers like, Joe Rogan, for example. He's like on a episode of 1,800 something, but he does those, 5 days a week. So that's, like I said, an outlier. But there's also other big time episodes that it's every single week, knocking them out, sometimes two a week, and so they don't have seasons. But then there's also successful ones that have seasons, season one, season two, so kind of don't want to compare yours to anybody else's. You can, I guess, use it as a metric, to kind of gauge exactly, what is like you're doing, what are other people doing, or others, I should say. But at the end of the day, it's like you gotta, focus on your podcast itself and not focusing on others, So yeah, I was just like, nah, I won't do a season, but it's okay to take a break. You know what I mean? It's just 1 week. It's not like I'm taking a whole month. It's not like I'm taking a year. But even that too, you could justify a whole month being off, and you can justify a year if need be. Everybody's different, and I don't think there's a right or wrong answer for that, especially when you're just starting off podcasting like myself. So yeah, that I took that little pause, and I felt great, man. It got me like energized again and motivated to get back in here, because there's a lot more things that I'm going to be doing, and a lot more things that I plan on doing, and there's a lot more things that I'm going to be upgrading for sure, especially now that we're wrapping up 2021. You feel me? And I definitely got to get I would say save more, because I don't want to do like a year recap just yet, because I know I'm going to save that for the Christmas episode. I mean, no, sorry, not Christmas episode, the fucking the New Year's episode. So we're going to recreate that one again, and I think that's when we'll do the 1 year mark with the same people, hopefully. And then we could like really do that whole celebratory type of thing and just push it back some. So I definitely am looking forward to that. Real quick, out we got some podcast alums that just dropped some music. Shouts out to Fresh Mix, Disaster 2, 7 tracks. This fucking project, super dope. Y'all check it out. A lot of people support them. A lot of people, we have like we come from the same area and everything, so we got a lot of the same supporters, which shouts out to y'all. But check it out, man. Disaster 2 from Fresh Mix. And another podcast alum that has some new music out. It's not an EP, but it's a track, a new single, I would say. And it's Da Homie podcast alum, Ryan Ave. Shouts out Ryan Ave, bro. Mess's latest single release. Y'all check that one out. Okay, so I just want to give a quick shout out to y'all on the music. And anytime I like building this. I like the if you noticed, a lot of time there's like an not event, but if there's some new projects or new singles or merch or anything that a podcast alum, meaning like a person that's been here, has done or is just releasing, I like to share it with everybody. And I always say podcast alum because I'm building like everybody's a. If you've been on it or contributed or been a part in any type of way, I consider you part of the alum, part of the fam. You know, so anytime I can get stuff like that, there's always shout outs that I like to do. So shouts out to y'all. Now, okay, so over, I don't know. Okay, so I was supposed to originally supposed to be here for Thanksgiving, meaning locally. I wanted to have Thanksgiving done in my own house, but like I said, with stuff that went on in the family, I had to like change that and went back home. And I'll tell you this, bro, it's probably something that is not gonna surprise y'all, and I'm sure y'all already like we know, but damn, fucking gas, okay? Gas is like it's like normally what I would put for $45 in my car, it just like it barely like the half a tank's right here and it's like barely just like and I'm like, damn. I remember putting 40 $45 and that shit would fill up. That shit just barely goes and just looks at me like, bitch, what? 40 $45? Man, and then the Yukon, 'cause we got a Yukon too. I remember putting like $60 and it would give us like a cool, like it'd make it all the way to King City. For reference, for the people that don't know, from Sacramento to King City, it's like, I don't know, let's say three and a half hours. $60 would get us there. Cool amount of gas. Now you put fucking 50 and it's barely at a half a tank. And I'm like, damn, bro. So gas prices are up there, and I really finally did notice it making 4 trips because I made like 4 trips back and forth up and down the 101, bro. And damn, like I said, those gas prices are getting no joke. I'm starting to miss visiting and seeing the prices on the East Coast because I remember at one point it was like $1.99 on the East, and I remember being jealous and envious of my homies that stay out there. And I don't think we'll ever see 199 in California. I don't know, maybe like a fucking AM PM, or like it's this random shitty ass fucking gas and fill, gas station that doesn't even have a full name. It just says gas. Maybe that's when we'll see something like that. But in the near future, I highly doubt it. Highly freaking doubt it. Okay, so I put up a poll, not even a poll, I would say, but I like to put some stuff up to kind of, I was asking like, hey, like what type of questions or topics and stuff like that do you think that I should hit? And I have a few of these, but before I get into these, because I'm gonna answer them or talk about them individually, I'm gonna get to one specific thing that I wanted to talk about before I even jump into all that. Okay, so on Tuesday, November 30th, there was unfortunately a school shooting in Oxford, Oxnard, something like that. And we'll just say in Michigan, right? And watch me let me get the exact location because I just don't want to ruin the name, and no, I don't have a producer here, so it's tough to like do everything on the fly. I guess I would have it normally. I would have it right here a little better, but we're doing everything on the fly. Okay. It just says Michigan too. Oxford. Yeah, I was right. Boom. Okay, Oxford. Yeah, Oxford, Michigan. Right. So there's a kid. It's just a sad situation overall. And I know, like I said, that this was last week, but I'm just now getting to talk about it. And since then, since last week, there's been new developments in it. And then like they're constantly, how the news is. It's always like the new lead, the new fire, the new everything. And at first it was just like there was this 15-year-old shot. First it was like 3 people and wounded like 6. 3 of them had passed. And then since then they said it's 4. So 4 people passed and still the same injured. But there wasn't really much information on him because he was 15 and minor, But since then they've revealed his identity. They have confirmed that they're going to try him as an adult. They're going to hit him with like bunch of different first degree murders. Even I read online about some like some type of terrorist felony type of thing. So it's like, he's fucked, you know. But one interesting thing that I wanted to hit, and that someone asked me about literally just yesterday, and we had talked about over the weekend too, was the potential involvement with his parent. Well, yeah, with the dude's parents, the little kid's parents. You know, and it was interesting because I wanted to give my take on it, and I wanted to talk about it on here because I want to figure out. I wanted to gauge what the thought process was like in my mind, verbally out here, but also see if like am I right or wrong on this. Okay, so these are just, we don't know if it's true, alleged. This is all alleged, and this is some stuff that they're saying about the parents. So they caught the parents, the mom and the dad. Supposedly, they were like they had taken out $4,000 cash from ATM. They had found him like hiding in a building somewhere, and they were saying that they weren't hiding. They were just they were planning on turning themselves in because there was text messages. There were like they said they had just went in there in the school earlier to go talk to like the counselor over concerns of like drawings that they found in his computer search history, and then photos of on Instagram of the parent, like the mom, like buying the kid, like buying his, like they bought the handgun 4 days prior. And they bought it for him like a little gift, and then the son posting about it and stuff like that. And so at first, here's my thing: it's not uncommon for like parents to buy their children guns. There's nothing wrong with buying your child a gun. I mean, especially if you're from the South. I'm just speaking of I guess what the law is, and from my experience. And my experiences, especially when I was living in the South, it was like, yo, people had guns all the fucking time. So it's really from where you're from and what you're comfortable with. Because I know people who've grown up without never even touching or holding a gun. I know people that their parents never owned a gun or anything. Just as my little personal story, well, maybe I shouldn't get myself in trouble or incriminate me. I'll just say that I had a gun too. Wasn't bought by my parents. Wasn't bought, you know, but at a teenage year, I did have one. At one point, I did have a shotgun, a Mossberg pump specifically. And yeah, but again, everybody's situation is different. But yeah, so this dude, his parents bought him a gun, and then I think they even took him to a shooting range or something like that too. And you can have your opinions on that too. And if all I know is that if it's legal, then it's legal. I've heard of parents taking their kids to their fucking backyards and just shooting guns out there. So it's kind of just like based off your comfortability on that. That's not really the bigger issue. That's just to give some context and some background for it. You know what I'm saying? Really, the issue was whether they knew about something going down and them kind of somehow being involved in it, like involuntary, right? Voluntary, but involuntary, I guess you would say. Yeah, the involvement for it. Because they were saying that there's text messages about the mom supposedly texted him saying like, it's okay that you're doing that, whatever. Just don't. You got to be smart about it and don't get caught. As far as what he was searching up and for ammunition and stuff like that. And they said something about the mom or either the mom or the dad, something like that, sending another text message like the day of, something about like, oh, don't do it if I was you, or wouldn't do it, or some type of text messages that were being exchanged like literally within the hour of the event going down. And the parents were even there because I guess the counselor had brought the parents in, were concerned about everything, and they had like essentially like a on the spot parent teacher meeting, and they refused to take him, and they ended up electing to just let him stay there, despite having all that stuff being popped up, and then was definitely raising some concerns for questions, and ultimately now they were arraigned, I would say, or arranged, I don't know, but now they're being charged, I guess. So again, I'm saying all that for context and some background info on it, so I could talk to you about what was asked to me and what we actually talked about over the weekend too with a few friends, and it was put yourself in that parent's shoes. Me being a parent as well, put yourself in that parent's shoes. What would you have done, and how far would what if it was your son that was was asked to me? And it was interesting because it's a tough it's a tough question in that you kind of, at least I would say, you as a parent, you want to do as much as you can, right, to help out your kid and to have your kids back. Um, but there's also a level to where it's like you're you're endangering and harming multiple other people for your own, not for your own, but based out of your own selfishness, right? So it's like if that was my son, right, and if I knew that there was some fishy shit going on, or if I knew that he had a gun at a school and everything, I would either show up I think I don't know if I would, depending on where I'm at, right? I don't know if I would like call the cops immediately and be like, my son has a gun at school. If I was close, meaning if I'm in the same city, maybe, again, this is me just on the spot thinking, I guess maybe I would just dip out straight to the school and try to handle it myself. Just show up and, figure out a way to get them out there ASAP, take everything away, and then figure out some counseling stuff after that. But then it's like, but if you're 20 minutes out, and then a lot can happen in 20 minutes. What if you knew about this 20 minutes ago, and then in that time frame, a shooting happens, and then it's like, fuck, you could have, gave that information. So I guess there's that aspect too. But it's like, when do you make that call, as a parent, So I guess I probably do maybe both. I think I'd be like, I'd probably let the school know, hey, this, and that, because at the same time, you got to remember that all the children they have parents too, so it's like, put yourself in in that parent's shoes, because you're ultimately everybody's parents. You're all parents, so I'd probably call and get over there ASAP. But then it gets to the next thing is, how far would you be willing to lie to protect them? Say if you already knew about everything and he already gave you the info and it all happened, then how much are you willing to lie to protect your son? Well, at first glance, it's always just like, or first thought, it's like, I'm going to protect my son no matter what. But then does it become a detriment? To what point is it a detriment, So it's like, again, I think it goes back to like, you got to think of the greater and good of like multiple people, multiple children, and they have families versus yours. I don't know, because I was listening to the Breakfast Club, and they talked about it this morning too. And the DJ Envy and Charlamagne, they were just saying like, yo, if they knew that another kid was taking a gun to school, that they would shoot, shit, my bad, that they would take their kids out, or elect to take the kids out. And then another person was I think it was a caller to someone that called in, but they're like they don't know how they would act right away, but they said that they would just trust the school or trust the police. But you can make an argument why that's wrong too, because they let them go back to the school, and I'll say this too, without giving too much info. I'll say that at one time, there was a time at school where there was, in high school in King City, I remember there was a time where there was a kid or a student that had a gun, at school, and a few people knew about it, and were kind of just like, yo, this dude. And it wasn't like it was like all day. It wasn't like it was like everybody was just sitting on that shit. But I remember it was like lunchtime frame, and then didn't see him afterwards. So looking back on it, on hindsight, this probably should have been like, what the fuck, But I guess in that moment, especially at that time, with everything else going on during those early years, we kind of just like, nah, we never saw him again after that day. So, but I don't know. Like I said, in hindsight, now being older, parent, as a parent myself too, it's kind of like, eesh, maybe say some shit, yo. But it was interesting, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a different dynamic whether you are a parent versus when you're not, or at least that's how I'm thinking about it, you know. So I can't get a good gauge from it, but I'm hoping you guys can and let me know. You know, let me know what's up on some shit because I'm not exactly the smartest one here. Okay. Um, so I got one of the questions, and it was interesting because I was actually gonna. This is me like getting to the questions or the topics that I should hit, and I was gonna talk about this already, but I guess I would save it for this, and now I could just go into it easily. Okay, so one of the questions or topic, it says 2021 recap. Again, that one I could do it right now, but I'm gonna save it for the New Year's episode. So I'll get to that, but just not yet. Another one says crypto. And to be honest, I'm not that too inclined in virtual currency. I don't know too much in depth. I know, I don't know whether you can go Bitcoin, crypto, NFT. NFT, I want to say stands for non-fungible tokens, something like that, or fungible tokens, something like that. I know it's a space for sure. I know some people say it doesn't exist, and some people say that it's not, or Dogecoin or all that stuff. Some people say it's like all BS, but I say that right now the value is so high on it for a reason, and I've heard of like real big time exchanges being taken with virtual currency and crypto. You can get stock in it, and just like with anything, whether it's the market, so interest rates affect anything. It's one of those things where it's like you understand it, you acknowledge it, but you don't have to be, exactly plunge it in that world to like fully grasp it. Do your research, I would say, and just be careful. It's like gambling, but that Bitcoin is up right now, like 50,000 a goddamn coin, so it must be something. But the other topic of this one, it talks about the 2022 podcast bucket list. And this is what I was going to talk about earlier, so it fits in perfect. So thank you for that one. 2022 bucket podcast list. For sure, improvements, upgrades, and expansion. And I'll actually expand upon those three too. Improvement. So the first year is kind of like getting a feel for everything, and still kind of trying to grasp everything, understand everything, the ins and outs of certain things. And this is at a very smaller level. It's not even a big scale, but at a smaller level, it's finding yourself out still and finding your groove and your niche, which I still haven't officially done. But I've also been okay with that, like finding my own lane in that. A lot of the times, like one of the first questions that people ask when you say you have a podcast, they go, well, what is it about? And it's easy to be like, what's a sports podcast? It's a debate podcast. It's a history podcast. It's a finance. It's whatever the case is, because most of the times that's understandably so. They want to know what it's about, and the audience knows genres and stuff like that. And the second thing they always ask is, when is it available? Where do you have it? That type of thing. So for the first part of that, as far as if someone were to ask me like, what's my podcast about? I really just say, before I'd be like, oh, it's this, I do this. And I kind of give like a vague answer. Now I just say like, hey, it's a comedy based podcast with relatability. And it's just, with a comedic tone of interviews, but sometimes they can be, on serious topics, and I like the wide range of everything. So that's kind of like a summary or a quick answer for doing it, and obviously I could give like a longer answer for it, but I'm more comfortable with saying that now compared to being asked earlier, because I didn't really know how to do that, So it's improving on that, and also it's improving out with the content or the quality of the content, because a lot of the times, which I'm learning with now too, I'm being more comfortable, talking on the mic, and more comfortable behind the camera, but also opening up more. So now, like I still haven't even really gone in depth, I would say, with like background information on me and stories. I'm definitely gonna do a lot more storytelling, because I find that every time I tell a story, well, not every time, but like most of the times where I tell a story, the people are always just like, yo, why don't you talk about this on the podcast? Or why don't you bring this up? And I always say, well, it's tough because I need someone I would like to have someone to go back and forth with it, or someone else to bring it up, because sometimes there's a certain topic that we might be talking about, or a topic that gets brought up that triggers it for me, and that reminds me to like, oh yeah, well, here's this story, and I have a story about this. And a lot of times, if it's just me by myself in this room like I am, I can't like just trick that, nothing, I can't just pull that out of my ass. You know what I'm saying? Or I can't pull that out of fucking the air, so I'm gonna be, getting a little bit more in depth with talking and giving you some more stories, because I do have a bunch of funny stories, scary stories, true stories, drama stories, and just like, it's just, I'm all fucked up, okay? But doing a little bit more of that. And the third one, what did I say? I said improvement. Damn, I forgot the third one. My train of thought. Budgeting, or making it better. Oh, bigger, making the podcast bigger. So I wanted to do this earlier in the year, and it's basically going out of the normal realm, or the normal scope of podcasting, in that you get the same thing every week, right? You get the same marketing videos, the same promotion, the drop dates, the highlights, snippets, mobiles. I've done all those, but now I'm gonna go out of the box even more. I want to take this to different places, expand my guest range, and do some more marketing of promoting stuff organically to grow the audience and grow the podcast. And I think 22 is going to be a big year for that, because I'm going to be focusing more, not more necessarily, but making sure I give more effort into that. You know what I'm saying? Because that'll overall bring more eyeballs to this, and it's going to help, I think, everybody out overall in general. Oh, and then the quality of the content for sure is going to be there. And I think, like I said, they go hand in hand with when I talk about like opening up more, expanding everything more, and just staying consistent like always, because that's one of the biggest things I'd say that I push. So that's the bucket list. That's one of them, I would say, or two or three. Fuck, I don't even know how many. But another bucket list is gonna be another live episode at maybe with a little bit bigger guest range, and a sponsorship. That's like the big this year, finding some sponsors to connect and network with. That's gonna be definitely on the bucket list for 2022. So the next one. Oh, wrong phone. Hold up, dog. I got two phones, so excuse me. Record while doing Edward 40 hands. Well, I can't, right now, because it'd be tough to manually turn everything on, press the buttons, hit record, and hit the record on the camera, and then hold this, and then all while, keeping. Also, I can't chug it. I can't. I don't know if I could do it as quick as I used to. Not that I'm not that young anymore, but I'm down. Properly planning and everything, I'm down. Okay, where would I like to travel and why? So I was planning a family trip prior to the pandemic hitting, and around the time frame of when the baby turned 1, that's when I wanted to do a trip. I wanted to go to Italy or Spain, and I feel like I was leaning more towards Spain. I feel like I was leaning more towards there. Both would have been fine. It was definitely being funded. I was, a couple thousands already in it from saving, and and then the pandemic hit, and then life happens, and then what turned into like this quarantine, or this 2 week this and this and that, turned into like a fucking 2 year type of thing, and all these travel bans and restrictions, and and then taking off somewhere, and then not potentially may or not being able to come back into the country, and it just never came to be about. But I definitely want to hit up Italy or Spain, and if you have gone to either one of those, please let me know which one would, in your experience, how it was. That way I can get a gauge, and still want to do that, because it's still on the bucket list, and I still want to go for sure. Just probably won't happen this year. Okay, this upcoming UFC card, interesting. I do like me some UFC. So, if you don't know, if you're not an MMA fan, or any type of fight fan in general, There's a big fight card this weekend. Let me bring it up actually. Okay, the main card. So UFC 269. I'll give you my picks. I'll talk about that. You know what I'm saying? But to do a whole fucking, you know what I mean? It's gonna take like a whole episode, which I'm down to do. If anybody else is down to do and do some UFC ones, hit me up. I'm down. MMA, boxing. Let's get it. But so we'll just talk about the main card. The one that the one that's opening up with Sean O'Malley. I'm gonna go with him because it's Sean O'Malley. Cool dude, good fighter. He's funny as shit. But I think he takes a win on that one. At flyweight, Cody Garbrandt fighting Kai Kara France. This was interesting because this is gonna be Cody's first fight at flyweight, and former bantamweight champion. I've met him. He probably doesn't remember that I met him. I've personally been in the gym with him when he was training, because I did train there for a little bit at Team Alpha Male, specifically the one on I Street, the old throwback one. And he's not that big. That's no disrespect. He's not that big, so it doesn't surprise me that he can make flyweight. 125 pounds. I feel, I guess at first glance, I assume he's gonna do good. I assume he's gonna be pretty fucking still have his speed and everything. The only thing I worry about is the cardio gas tank. I guess if there's one concern, I would say the cardio. I know the power is gonna be there too. But I'm hoping that if he can, I would say this: if the cardio is still like, if he can maintain that the same cardio he had at 35 going down to 25, while still retaining all the power, the wrestling, the striking, all that stuff. If he can still have all that, I think he's gonna do good. I think he's gonna get the win on that one. So, rooting for Cody on that one, especially Sacktown local trainer, Santiago Ponzinibbio. Jeff Neal, I'm gonna go with Santiago just because it's my little brother's name, but he's a solid fighter. But the co-main and the main, so the co-main women's bantamweight, Amanda Nunes, Juliana Pena. Look, how can you go against Amanda Nunes? You know what I'm talking about? 2-time fucking featherweight, bantamweight, defended them both 2 times, like current 2-time champion. Like still, like I know there's been a few of them that come and gone, but she's still like, it's like 2 years still of still defending both. You know what I mean? So it's like it's tough to bet against her on this one. Julieta Pena, the Venezuelan vixen, something like that. Venezuela, I think she was from originally. I think she definitely has a shot. I think she's gonna do better than most people think. I think she's gonna do better than what Holly Holm did. I think she's gonna do better than than a lot of people have. But ultimately, I think I gotta go with Amanda Nunes, dog. She's the female GOAT, the GOAT. How could you not, right? But in the main event, Charles Oliveira Dustin Poirier. Man, so this is the one that I go back and forth with. And I'm pretty sure I'll talk about it with Alexis too, and we'll go back and forth about that too and break it down. But we're actually gonna watch. We're all gonna watch it together anyway. But I think so. Okay, here's the thing. My heart says Dustin, right? My heart goes like, this is Dustin. Like his second shot at the belt, he finna get this shit. And coming off a big win against Conor, back-to-back wins against Conor. Whether you want to call that last one an official win, I mean, actually, no. Whether you want to call it a win or not, but in the books and officially, it goes down as a win. But I know he's on this high right now. But I would say, this dude Charles ain't nothing to play with, bruh. The Bronx, so I might go with the Bronx. But I reserve the right to change that pick, okay? And then I'll do this last one. So. This one says, where is Albert Fig in 10 years? Interesting. We'll count 2021 already like in the books. So I'll start it from 2022 because we're only like a few weeks out. 10 years from now, 2032. Where am I at? Whew. I don't know if I'll still be here in Sacramento. Truthfully be told. I would like my son to be around family more. And, everybody 10 years from now, not only am I older and he will be older, but so would be all my family members. Everybody would be older. So traveling wouldn't be so much of a first option type of thing anymore. I'm assuming that I will have a bigger house. I'm not going to say assuming. I'll for sure have a bigger house. So I'll be in a bigger house. I'll be in a new location. Nothing like crazy far away. And the podcast would still be around, doing big numbers, doing big shit. You feel me? And I'll still be playing Mac Dre. I'll still be playing Bay Area music at fucking whatever, 30, 40 years, 30, 40, and 30, 40 years old, still fucking slumping it. And yeah, that's pretty much where I see myself in 10 years. But also, I don't know, it's kind of a, I'm not gonna say selfishly type of thing, but I don't know if I tough to just say myself, when I have a family. So it's like I see us, I would say, so it's like everything, you move different, and then it'd be cool if I'm able to somehow in this 10-year time frame, either have my mom living in her own spot or living with me, one or the other. That'd be ideal in the 10 years, getting my mom her own spot, or her living with me and just taking care of her. So that'd be the bucket list from that one. That'd be the goal. But yeah, first year done in the podcasting. Second one coming in hot. You feel me? Like I said, I made up some doubters and some haters in my mind, but I use that as fuel and motivation. You can call me psychotic, whatever, but that's just kind of what I do, I guess. And everything's only going to get bigger and better. I'm excited. I'm able to do this still. I'm excited that I'm thankful, I would say, that I'm still here, and still building more platforms and building more bridges and, elevating. Fuck, I don't know why I said escalating, but elevating and hopeful that I can inspire others and motivate others, which I made a 1 year highlight. I put it up on Instagram. So if you haven't checked out that video, definitely check the little 2-minute video that I made recapping the last year and me talking on another podcast, The Full Circle Mentality. Check that one out. You might get motivated from it. You might get inspired by it. And you might look at that and feel disgusted. But either way, I'd appreciate you if you check out that video. So anyway, this has been another episode of the Hypocritical AF podcast. Again, I'm your host, Albert Fig. Thank you for all the support from the first year. Second year, we're coming in hot and we're coming in bigger for sure. Y'all stay safe. Peace.